Blizzard is looking to curb misbehaving Twitch users in the chat of its official Overwatch streams by requiring that chat participants link their Twitch and Battle.net accounts together before sending messages during a stream. Blizzard describes the move as a no-moderation program and aims to give it a test run during the upcoming Overwatch Contenders quarterfinals from now through January 12.
2019
In order to send a message in Twitch chat during the live stream events, viewers will have to log into their Twitch accounts and link their Battle.net account sub through TWITCHS webpage, though it is not explicitly said what action, if any, Blizzard will take against misbehaving chatters following the Battle.net link-up. In a blog post on the test, Blizzard says that the change hopes to improve the viewer experience for the Overwatch Path to Pro ecosystem, and that the team will evaluate how, if at all, the requirement led to a more positive viewing experience. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star Alfonso Ribeiro is suing Epic Games for allegedly stealing a dance he popularized and recreating it in Fortnite. The actor played a character called Carlton Banks in The Fresh Prince back in the 90s, and during his time on the show, became well known for performing an iconic dance move that's since been dubbed the Carlton. As reported by the Huffington Post, Ribeiro claims Epic knowingly misappropriated his dance by replicating and selling it in Fortnite is the Fresh emote, with the name itself being an obvious reference to television show. It is widely recognized that Mr. Ribeiro's likeness and intellectual property have been misappropriated by Epic Games in the most popular video game currently in the world, Fortnite, wrote Ribeiro's attorney, David Hatch. Epic has earned record profits off of downloadable content in the game, including emotes like Fresh. Yet Epic has failed to compensate or even ask permission from Mr. Ribeiro for the use of his likeness and iconic intellectual property. Hatch says Ribeiro is now seeking a fair and reasonable share of the profits Epic has earned through selling the dance move. The attorney is also representing another artist in a similar lawsuit against Epic, with rapper Melee also suing the studio for using his signature MIDI rock dance move without permission. Meanwhile, TMZ is reporting that Russell Honing, a
K.A.
backpack kid, has just filed a lawsuit against Epic for stealing his iconic dance move, the Floss. As it stands, Ribeiro, Melee, and Honing are all attempting to claim the copyright for their respective dances, and it'll be interesting to see how the result of each suit affects Epic and other game devs using similar emotes. The most important thing I wanted to capture with the game was an unsettling feeling of things being off, says Mike McGonigal, developer of edutainment horror mixture, Baldies Basics in Education and Learning. I did not want to go flat out horror. I just wanted to create a mishmash of different things that do not quite meld together right, but also do not seem ridiculously over the top and crazy. Baldies Basics begins innocuously enough, tasking players with finding notebooks and solving trivia questions within a crude, explorable 3D world. As players fill questions and wonder, though, the sense of unease permeates events and meetings, one created by the visuals being purposely made to look a little bit off, not unlike many past educational games the developer has seen or played. McGonigal draws upon accidentally unsettling visual elements of old educational games to create a disturbing world in Baldies Basics, and in doing so creates unease from a general sense of something being wrong, and not so much from a frightening creature stalking the player. The game's boring antagonist is far from terrifying, but through the game's visual design, McGonagall harnesses unease to make the player feel dread, even if they cannot pinpoint a reason why they feel that fear. By making things look off, he can create fear before the player even knows what they should be scared of. By moving away from monsters and dark holes, and into places that simply do not feel right, the developer can also open up horror to people who might not find it tolerable, opening the genre up to new audiences. The main inspiration for Baldies Basics is pretty much Sonic's Schoolhouse. I never played it growing up, but when I first saw it, I was immediately creeped out by it, and that was pretty much where the idea came from, says McGonagall. Baldies Basics does not immediately strike fear into the player's heart. There's nothing especially frightening about the schoolhouse, the man who wants to help you with your audition. Similarly, most of the educational games that inspired the game are not exactly terrifying along their own, either, but through small visual elements that conflict with one another, they create a discomfort in the player. The EPONYMOUSHORARO Baldies Basics. This particular unease was created through McGonagall's experience and research into educational games and the many accidentally frightening elements within them. I do not believe there's any one game that scared me when I was little, but I do know there were plenty of different things in different games that gave me the creeps, says McGonagall. One thing that was common in a lot of edutainment games that always creeped me out was the sort of uncanny CG graphics they would use. It was pretty cheap looking, but NOTTROCHEAP looking. The characters and animated stuff were also often 2D, which made the CG stuff look even more out of place. Mixing two visual styles was one way that some of these past educational games would accidentally create unease, mainly done through these conflicting, inconsistent art styles. By not sticking to any one particular look, it would dredge up this sense that something was wrong, even if it may only be the fact that the art style do not look right together at all. A shot of Back Interactive's 1996 Bigger Sonic as Schoolhouse. A good example would be Reading Blaster Chamber. Most of the scenery was CG, and I specifically remember this one game where you could collect these toys, and they always gave me the creeps. Hold on, now, I got to go look it up. Oh great, that's gonna haunt my dreams for a bit I think, he continues. Beyond the conflict between the two art styles, there is a crudeness to the visuals of the toys in Reading Blaster Chamber. In one mini-game, there are animals and objects within the scene that are in 3D, with this contrasted against the animated characters, who also appear. The 2D animated characters move and shift their eyes, but the 3D animated ones stand utterly still, eyes moving and then blinking. The juxtaposition of the two styles, however accidental, makes the 3D characters feel unnerving in their stillness. Reading Blaster Chamber, released in 1995. I also remember one time at the library, there was a Reader Rabbit game on one of the computers, and Reader Rabbit was just standing there, his normal 2D self, when the itsy bitsy spider started playing something, and he started doing the hand motions, except his hands were not 2D, they were CG. It pretty much freaked me out, says McGonagall. The tone element definitely influenced Baldies Basics art style in a lot of ways. Obviously, Baldi and some other characters are CG, though they do not quite capture that uncanny look I was talking about. Still, the sort of creepy, uneasy feeling those elements give me is the same feeling I was shooting for in the game, he continues. That inconsistency in art style seems to begin to create a revulsion in the player, one that makes the player wish to remove themselves from the play space. Not unlike the fear that drives them to flee a lethal monster, it's a sense that something is very wrong with this place. If only from the jarring differences in art style, this is put to work in the game. Through varied art styles for objects and characters, the game refusing to settle on one concrete visual design for everything. It creates a sense that the world is not put together right, developing that important need in the player. The main inspiration for Baldies Basics was old 3D games the kind, with building sprites that slide around.